Hello, everyone. I'm Cinders Vale. I am part of the RFL TV team here at Relay for Life of Second Life in 2015. And it is my greatest pleasure today to be here at the campsite for the Knights of Avalon. And my interview guest is Ethan McAlpin, who is the captain of the Knights of Avalon. Welcome, Ethan.
Thank you, Cinders.
I have to say, I thought I was having a little instance of deja vu when I came to your campsite and I started wandering around, but it's a very specific build. Why don't you tell us about it?
Well, the day we found out the theme for this year's Relay for Life, the first thing that Tara Tepper, and she and I have been building the campsites together for years, the first thing that came to our mind was a city of the future, but one that was probably a little bit dated. And at first we thought about Tomorrowland at Disney World, and then Logan's Run came to mind, and that's what we ended up going with. We pulled up pictures, and we both said we can build that, and that's what we decided to do. We wanted to recreate the domed city from the movie, from the 1976 movie Logan's Run.
And yes, in the movie, everybody had a lifespan of 30, I believe.
That's correct, and that's what we tied into several different, I guess you could say, sub-themes to the main Relay for Life theme. One was that we wanted to get the message out that life doesn't have to end at 30 or even 40 or 50 or 60 or beyond, that cancer can be beaten, and that in the future, that's the kind of future that we would like to see. And the other thing is we kind of wanted to take people back. This is the way people envisioned the future 40 years ago. A city like this was supposed to depict the city of the future, but from a perspective of 40 years ago. And so what we did was we tied in the life clocks from the movie Logan's Run, and we used those to show statistics of what cancer statistics were the year this movie was made and how much they have improved in 2015.
Yes, I took a look over in your one building looking at all the informational boards, and it was fascinating. But I was a little shocked at the obesity levels. Made me feel guilty about not exercising more.
Well, I don't know anybody that can't stand to use a little more exercise. No, even those that walk and exercise every day. I mean, especially in the United States, there's just such an availability of things to tempt us to eat that obesity has gotten to be a large problem.
And of course, that is not a healthy lifestyle, and it could lead to other health issues and problems.
Absolutely. I think there's a lot of things, cancer and other things, that in some way can be tied back to obesity. I think a lot of the health problems begin there, and as those health problems attack the body, it makes you susceptible to other things.
It weakens the whole entire system, in other words.
Absolutely.
Well, I recognized many elements from Logan's Run, the movie, and of course the big red crystal when the ones who had reached 30 had to go in and try to renew.
That was the carousel building, and we had to have that building at least in some way depicted, not exactly the way it is in the movie, but instead we wanted to make it a place where people could go and see some of the statistics and get information about cancer. And so we did want to have the crystal in there, though. We felt like that was an essential element to that building, so we made sure that we had it represented in that building.
Well, you not only did that part, but you also did the other building, which has the different colored life clock
That
computers.
that's my favorite part of the entire build, and I have to give Tara Tepper complete credit for that. She recreated that as good as anybody possibly could have, I think, and then using that to tie in the information, the statistical information, and you'll see those color themes, the of the four stages of life, the blue and the yellow and the green and the red. You'll see those reflected in different places throughout this campsite.
Well, I think you definitely did an excellent job, and good heavens, how much research did you have to do to pick out what you were going to include and how to build it?
We both watched the movie several times, and Tara admitted she had heard of the movie, but she had never actually seen it. It's always been a favorite of mine, but she made it a point to sit down and watch it. And knowing the way she researches things, she probably took screenshots of all kinds of elements to use in the parts that she did. And of course, the main city picture is widely available. You can find it on Google, and so we were able to find pictures from the original models that were used in the movie, and that made it a lot easier. And of course, when you're a builder and you look at any building, the first thing you do is convert that building in your mind to prims. It's just a natural thing. When you driving down the road, even you'll try to convert something into prims, and then you say, "I can build that." And so that's basically what we did. We looked at pictures, looked at movie references, and then we came in here and tried to make it all fit into one campsite.
Well, I think you did an excellent job. And I also wanted to call attention to that plaque over there, which says our special thanks to. What was that involved with?
Those are people that actually helped us. For example, Froggy is mentioned on there. She's the curator over at the old E-Lab, which is still up and running, and she gave us sandbox space to work. And then you'll also see the name of the scripter who helped. Tara built the life clock computers, but she and I neither one are scripters, and we needed somebody to help the life clocks attain that pulsating light that they have. And when they found out what the cause was for, they were very quick to donate their service to us.
Well, I think that's wonderful that they step forward to help out. And yes, anybody who can do scripting in Second Life is a treasure and much appreciated because,
Absolutely.
to me, that is so far beyond my knowledge that I wouldn't have a clue how to do any of it.
And
Well,
we're still old-fashioned prim builders. I mean, we both have embraced mesh to a large degree, but when it comes down to just having to get down and build something very quickly, like a campsite for Relay for Life, there's nothing that works better than good old-fashioned prims.
yes, and I also see that you have over on the plaque Highlands of Scotland, of course.
Well, we actually, I'm heavily involved with the Highlands group, and since they're in a different time zone, it helps to have they were not as familiar with relay, and after I told a lot of them about it, they wanted to be a part of it. In fact, several of them are up very late for them out on the track right now, but they're going to help us with some of the 24-hour coverage because they'll be up a lot earlier than the Americans will be, so they'll be back on the track a lot earlier in the morning than some of us will be able to be.
Well, I think most of the teams have international members just for that reason because, yes, I don't know about you, but I'm at a certain age where I can no longer do 48 hours without sleep.
Well, we thought about actually forming a separate Highlands team this year, but then the joke got around that it would be impossible for that many Scotsmen to walk in a straight line, and if there were any pubs along the way, the whole team would pull off the track, and we'd never get them back on the track. So we we, we just integrated the teetotalers into the group and left everybody else back in the Highlands.
I think that sounds like a very logical solution and makes a lot of sense. I just think this is so wonderful. And of course, Knights of Avalon, you have never done anything but something fascinating, awesome, or just so creative. I think you all should be very proud of yourselves.
Well, thank you. This particular year, we're our own worst critics, but we were just absolutely thrilled with the way this one turned out.
You should be very pleased and happy with how this turned out. It catches your eye and it draws you in, and that's what you want, is for people to come and take a look.
Absolutely.
So, how are you going to top yourselves in 2016?
I guess we'll wait and see what the next theme is, and then try to figure out how we can outdo this year.
That's true. In the meantime, you'll all take a well-deserved break after Relay Weekend, I'm sure.
Yes, we will.
I think you have done a wonderful job here. It's
Thank you.
fascinating build. And you've made it tie in from a movie that was about regimented limited lifespans to the efforts now to increase the lifespans of cancer survivors and everyone, actually, to make
Yes,
our lives better.
that was the goal.
Well, I'd
Hopefully,
say
we've achieved that.
I think you hit it right on, and all I can say is congratulations and very well done indeed.
Thank you.
You are very welcome. Well, I think that's about it. All I can say is I look forward to seeing what you're going to do in 2016. And of course, I wish the Knights of Avalon even more great success in the next Relay for Life of Second Life fundraising campaign. So, will you
Thank
talk
you.
with me again in a year?
Absolutely. I plan to be here.
All
I
right.
haven't missed one yet.
That sounds like a good deal to me and an excellent promise. All right, folks, that's it from the Knights of Avalon campsite at Relay for Life of Second Life in 2015. I hope you enjoyed seeing what's here, and I will see you next year. And go Relay!
Go Relay.